Oh, let me apologize for that. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here to let everybody know things are not going good in America, which everybody should know because of what's happening across the country. From us being here for a long period of time, trying to live our lives, straighten out this country and make this country a better place, we have some evils that came into our lives and tend to destroy our lives. We wanted to vote. We wanted to, put someone new, somebody competent, somebody strong-minded, somebody's willing to fight for the people and the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and not try to take it away from us. But throughout the couple of years, we have two different sides, Republican and Democrat, fighting over who should be their leader and who should they follow and who will believe that will help them through the chaos and through all the pain and suffering that America's been going through for the last past few years. Then comes Donald Trump and Harris. These two people fought in a debate, great debate. Harris won the debate, but they gave, honestly, the win to Donald Trump. Donald Trump ended winning in a landslide, which a lot of people say he didn't, but he won a landslide. And when he came in office, he said the things that he was going to do in 90 days. He never did. He said that he was going to help every single nationality, black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, Chinese, Dominican, any culture that lived and it was born in America. But he chose to chase immigrants. He chose to lie about immigrants. He chose to despise immigrants, knowing that his history with immigrants is very, very strong. When he used to own hotels in Atlantic City and a lot of places across America, he used to treat immigrants like trash. A lot of people think he treated blacks bad because he got sued by the NAACP about the way he was treating black people. That he said he didn't want black people counting his money. He didn't want he only wanted, I think, Jews to touch his money. And he had problems with immigrants too, because you got to remember, back at that time of the 80s, if a lot of people were living around that time or or born around that time, you should know that Donald Trump treated immigrants, even if they were not from this country, he would treat them bad. He will not pay them. He will get his supervisors on them if they're not working fast enough. He will abuse them mentally. I don't know physically, but mentally. A lot of them quit. A lot of them tried to sue. But they couldn't sue because they wasn't documented. Some did sue because they were part of the United States. Then, Donald Trump said in 1986 that he's going to be running for president. Now, nobody didn't know he was really making a real, conversation about running for president, but he was really serious. Now, him being bankrupt 6 times, we don't know how he became, to get a chance to have his campaign for president. But I believe that a lot of millionaires and billionaires helped him. And one person was named Epstein. I believe Epstein helped him save some money, because remember, he was going through so much with his taxes and also him going bankrupt. He went bankrupt 6 times. Now, for the people that don't know Donald Trump, which I think a lot of people should know Donald Trump, I used to see Donald Trump all the time on TV. When I was young, like around at least about 8 or 9 years old, Donald Trump was probably in his early 20s or 30s. Seeing Donald Trump a lot. Donald Trump was an entrepreneur. He wasn't rich around that time. He was worth only $900 million. He borrowed $4 million from his father to build his empire. And he was the most famous, probably, icon at that time, besides Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, and many other people that were followed around because Donald Trump was asked a lot of questions from different celebrities, black, white, Puerto Rican, it doesn't matter what culture he'd been around, he was the center of attention. But people don't know that Donald Trump hung around a lot of blacks that he hung around in the other culture. Now, Donald Trump loved young women. He loved young women. That's what he was enticed to. He didn't like older women. He had parties, many parties. And I know a lot of people that probably introduced him to the parties that, like, before Puff Daddy ever became who he was. But you have many other celebrities that would, that he had these big, you had the Playboy Mansion. People forgot all about the Playboy Mansion. He used to stay at the Playboy Mansion a lot. And he had pageants. Donald Trump ran the pageants. So he was in charge of all the pageants. So he used to walk in on females that were butt naked, and they were like 14, 15 years old. And they would get a little nervous that he walked in anytime he wanted to. He had the power to do that because it was his business. He did probably a lot of other stuff that we don't know nothing about. Now, when I was young, I remember all the movies he'd been in. I remember all the TV shows he'd been in. And I'm trying to figure out how nobody knows who Donald Trump is. A lot of people that are my age act like they don't know who Donald Trump is. Like Donald Trump came out of nowhere. Like he came from heaven and he came down to earth. The man been around for a very long time, only 79 years. And like I said, he hung around a lot of celebrities, a lot of billionaires, a lot of trillionaires. He owned a lot of land. He owned golf courses. He owned clubs. He owned a lot of stuff. I even went to his hotel when I was dating my ex. We went to the Trump Hotel. It was a nice hotel. But this was before he went bankrupt. This was before he closed off a lot of his casinos in Atlantic City. Now we can go on to the presidency. Donald Trump wasn't really supposed to win the primary. For some reason he got through. And I always believe his loopholes. Because Donald Trump wasn't fit to be president. I don't give a darn if Donald Trump was an amazing anything. He wasn't fit to be president. He should have never been president at all. And like I said before, I don't believe that there are voters that voted for Donald Trump or anything like that to become president. I really believe it's the rich and the entrepreneurs that wanted him to be in power so they could mooch off him, so they could be part of the power. Now, I'm not saying every celebrity. I'm not saying every person that, there are certain people that are Republican, independent, and also Democrat, or just, don't vote at all. But I believe Donald Trump got to be president through loopholes. People say it's cheating. I don't think it was cheating. I think it's loopholes. And even Dick Cheney even said that he could get, he said that he could have got George Bush Jr. to be president again for the third straight time. If he could. This is before he died. He said he could have. But he had to go through a lot. Just think about the vice president. People think the vice president don't do anything. Vice presidents do things behind the scenes. You just don't see them. They do a lot of shit. And they get the president ready for a lot of stuff. They talk to a lot of people. They do a lot of things to help the president. Because that's the human resource. The vice president is a human resource. Trump has to go to Vince and ask Vince questions because only Vince knows. The president doesn't know. Even Harris. Harris was asking questions. Not Harris. Biden was asking questions to Harris. And Harris was answering his questions. You got to know the presidency. That's why a lot of people are in politics but don't know politics because they hear just names. Like they'll hear Donald Trump, they'll hear Harris, they'll hear Biden, but they don't know anything about politics. You don't have to be a big politician to know politics. It's just you got to know the past. You got to know the actual past of past presidents and how everything was done in the past to be the same way as the future. Like I said, it's loopholes. A lot of loopholes. that you could get through to be president of the United States. And Donald Trump wasn't supposed to be the president of the United States. The only reason why he became president of the United States because he was promised when he got kicked out the first time, he was promised that he could come back because when he went through so much of going through with the pandemic, they had to get him out of there because he would have ruined the country from getting vaccines. Now, I know a lot of people believe in the vaccine and everything like that. I'm not going to go through that with anybody because I don't want to go back and forth with nobody about vaccines. But the thing about it is, they wanted to get the vaccine out there, and Donald Trump was trying to keep them from getting the vaccine out there because he was saying a lot of strange stuff about the vaccine. A lot of stuff. Now, was it strange? We don't know. Did he know something that we didn't know? I don't know. But he was trying to get people from taking the vaccine. And then when he got kicked out, that's when Biden started talking about the vaccines, and everybody got the vaccines because they were forced to get it. Because they were going to lose their job, they're going to lose their insurance, they're going to lose their food stamps, they're going to lose their disability and anything in medical if they didn't get the vaccine. And even jobs actually said that you were going to lose your job if you did not get the vaccine. So it was pressure for us at that time. Now, after the pandemic, everybody see Biden started struggling, talking, moving around, and doing other things that he used to do before he couldn't do again. Because he was going through a lot of brain hemorrhage. People didn't know that he had a brain hemorrhage surgery. He had a brain hemorrhage. And when you have a brain hemorrhage, sometimes brain hemorrhage can kill you. He survived his surgery. Once he survived his surgery, they said he was never going to be okay. And he'd never been okay ever since he got his brain surgery. I think he got another brain surgery before he got off being president. And people didn't realize that. People think that he was slow, stupid, and retarded. No, he had a brain hemorrhage. He even talked about it in his documentary. You can even look it up. The thing that really puzzles me about this president and the other president called Biden, everybody says that Donald Trump is healthy and Donald Trump is fit. Donald Trump is not healthy. If you get the 25th Amendment on him, you could get him kicked out. Now, Vance would be the president of the United States. Vance would be the president of the United States. I'd rather take Vance, a younger man that's 30-something years old, than a man that's not 79 years old, don't even know what the hell he's doing, where the hell he's at. Now, I know a lot of people love Donald Trump. I never liked Donald Trump. And I said it because I've seen Donald Trump when I was younger. You know, and a lot of older generation of people seen Donald Trump too when they were a lot younger, or around his age. And I never heard a lot of people talk about Donald Trump. Now, you see everybody talking about Donald Trump. And I don't know from the 80s or late 70s into the 80s, where did they start talking about Donald Trump? Like the whites. The whites really didn't talk about Donald Trump like the blacks did, or the Spanish. They talked about him more. The whites really did. Now, he hung out with Epstein. That's the truth. He did. Because when I was younger, before in the 80s, Epstein was always around Donald Trump. Always. I used to see him all the time too. And it's crazy. I never seen Maxwell, but I seen him. And he always used to hang out because, like I said, he might be a scammer or he might be an informant. You know, so they don't know because the man's dead. Well, I don't think he's dead. I think he's somewhere around here. I don't think he died. But that's just my opinion. But the thing is that it's crazy that what's going on across the country is terrible. ICE is beating up people. Donald Trump, really honestly, is still fighting with the governments of different states so he can get the military down. He's so itchy to get his military down into these states. It's driving him nuts. He's still got this government shut down. He's not paying an employees. ICE is not getting paid. You know, he doesn't care how long he can hold this. He might hold this thing for a month, 2 months. Then he's talking about gutting the government, which a lot of people think that's a good thing, which really is a bad thing for Americans. I mean, all Americans. And I said a video before about this, and I had a lot of people be ignorant to me because they think that they're not going to lose their job or never lose their job. And then they're going to be needing government assistance because there's not going to be any jobs for them to work. There's limited jobs in America. You know, everybody's leaving America to go to other countries to make more money. You know, the stock market's crashed or it's crashing. We're going to go into a recession. And nobody want to be in a recession. Nobody want to end up like 1929. You know, and we went through the pandemic. The pandemic was terrible. So how is it that we put a man in office that's worse than the pandemic? You know, we fought people taking vaccines. People didn't want to take vaccines. You know, I didn't get vaccinated. Really, honestly, I'm happy I didn't get vaccinated because you know why? Because I really believe that vaccines don't work at all. They say they have science study. Yeah, everybody has science studies on these things. But I don't believe it ever worked. Because I always used to get the flu all the time. Everybody forgot about influenza. Probably the only virus that killed more people in history than the Black Plague. But like I said before, control is a natural way of human existence. The Bible and vaccines, medication, you know, it's horrible the way we're going through this. We should not be going through this year 2025. We should be flying cars around. I mean, we should be in space right now trying to go to another planet. You know? We should be doing things like everybody talk about technology. We haven't even got near the technology we need to be going somewhere. But we're worried about what's going on with this president. People love this man for when he speaks out of his mouth. People love it, and people don't even mind him being a person that did sexual assault. They don't mind that. They don't mind that the man has this hate for people. He's a racist. He's uneducated. He dodged the draft. He did all these things that everybody will say, well, what about Muhammad Ali? Number one, Muhammad Ali even said it best. He's not fighting a white man's war. That's different than him dodging the draft. I think he was a millionaire around that time. Because back then, they used to draft millionaires. They used to draft millionaires to the military. They didn't care if you were a millionaire or a billionaire. They would draft you. Now, you can get out of it like George Bush Jr. did. He got out of it. He dodged the draft. See, the funny thing about it is being in America, if you don't represent yourself as what they want you to represent yourself, they don't like you. I'm not representing myself to like somebody. I never liked any of the presidents that came before Trump. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Obama. He was black, and I'm black. I wasn't a big fan because I think they used Obama to suppress black people. I didn't like Biden because Biden was a racist. He's an absolute racist. Before he became president, he was in the Senate. He was a racist. He even said some racial things out loud at the Senate when they were up there talking to him about something. I forgot. I think it was about his son or something. Donald Trump is a whole different thing. You like Bill Clinton? Yes, I like Bill Clinton. But see, one thing I didn't know that Bill Clinton did a lot of stuff in his past. You know what I mean? Ronald Reagan. I used to watch Ronald Reagan when he was an actor. George Bush Sr., I never liked him either. He was a great speaker, but I never liked him either. I never liked any of the presidents because, number one, the presidents don't really do anything. When they get power, yes, they can do whatever they want when they get power. Like absolute power. But if they're normal, regular presidents that actually trying to, you know, do what they got to do for the country, they don't really do anything. And people really think these presidents really do stuff. Because they say he's the commander-in-chief. That don't mean anything. And I keep on telling you, if he never got over the government, he would never had any control. Because the government is over top of the president. The government always been over top of the president. Ever since they first created the first government. Before George Washington was the president, they had a government first. Yeah, I mean, I remember I read this in high school about the Whigs and the no-Whigs. There were the Democrats and Republicans first with the Whigs and the no-Whigs. People hate the fact that the truth comes out when it comes to these motherfuckers over here that stand there and stare at you. Because racism in America should never, ever be against us. We should be the ones standing up. There's over 330 million people in America, man. We're so small. We probably got the same amount as probably Ukraine and America. 330 million people. That's not a lot of people. You know how many people are living in fucking China? Like around 6 billion? You take California, you could put every single American in California. That's how big the United States is. And that's how little the United States has for people. We talk about this country being a big country. It's really not. It used to be called Turtle Island. It used to be one of the smallest countries in the world at one point. Africa is the largest country in the world because you can put every single continent in fucking Africa. The United States is real small. Nobody lives in the Midwest. Nobody. Everybody lives probably in the South, the West, and the East, and the North. That's it. They said people don't even live in the Midwest. You can put every single person in the United States and California and probably still have room. Because California is the largest fucking state in the fucking United States. So just think about how many people could fit in there. There are 300 something million, and every other country has more than us. But we sitting up here thinking this country is the largest country in the world, and it's not. Just because you see it on the map, they always want to put America in the middle. Because America is supposed to be the most powerful country. If Africa was a powerful country, they will put Africa in the middle. If Asia was a powerful country, they will put Asia in the middle of the map. No, America is the most powerful country, so they put it in the middle. Because Europe used to be in the middle of the map. Go and look at them old maps and you will see Europe being in the middle of the map. Because that's power. And Donald Trump is talking about making this country great again. No, he wants to make this country white again. Which I say a billion times, this country was never white. Because you had Native Americans, you had Africans here. And also you had the Spaniards, you had Jews. You had different cultures here. Even when the Europeans came here, they still had different cultures. And they mixed with the Native Americans. With Native Americans refined oil, some of the Native Americans refined oil on their reservation. So the white man will come, see the oil, and try to marry his daughter. Marry the Native American's daughter to keep that reservation in their family because it has oil. Because a lot of the oil was stolen from the Europeans, from the Native Americans that were drawing oil, that was up there just digging a hole in the ground to probably plant some seeds, and the fucking oil drilling just come up. I know y'all saw that movie. I forgot what movie, I think the one with Leo DiCaprio. I think I remember that movie. It was supposed to be about the Native Americans, and they were rich with oil. But guess who married them? The white man came out of nowhere, came on a plantation and started marrying all the women. That's thievery. Then you got to go through the Mexican War, where Mexico had to defend themselves after the United States invaded Mexico and took Mexico, California, and Texas, New Mexico, and Florida from them. Because they owed the whole South and up to California. But the thing was that the Mexicans fought back, but they lost. But the thing is, guess who built the border wall? It wasn't the Mexicans. It was the Europeans. The same thing that they did to Africans when they brought Africans over here. They took what they can, brought them here, and forced them to work. But I always said the white man never built a goddamn thing on this continent. And it's not a strike at white people. Learn about your ancestors. Because your ancestors were really cruel. I'm not saying all your ancestors, but most of your ancestors really cared about getting rid of slavery, getting rid of a lot of shit. There's a lot of white people that cared, that liked racism. They didn't mind a black man or a black woman living next door to them. You know what I mean? You had interracial marriages, but it was hidden. But you actually had a black woman and a black woman and a white man loving each other. But it came to be that racism had to attack us and separate us, which we didn't have to be friends and working with each other. We could just have a respect for each other. But we never gotten respect from y'all. We try to give respect to you. But y'all didn't want our respect. You wanted us to go. You wanted us to pack our shit up, and y'all wanted us to leave. You wanted to make this a white country. And I said it again. This country will never be white. Yeah, you can make it Christian, but you know every culture probably in America is Christian. Like they try to make a white town. You can't make a white town. You gotta have some substance of color in your white town. You have to have some. It's like black people making a black town. We don't mind white people coming in. Don't they pay their rent and their bills and help the economy? We don't care. We don't care white people move in our neighborhood. We don't care. Puerto Ricans, blacks, Puerto Ricans, any culture. Blacks don't care. We don't care who moves in our neighborhood. We don't care who moves around us. As long as y'all respect us and as long as y'all put in with our community. We don't care where you come from. We don't care if you come from another country. But But I'm starting to see that a lot of blacks are being racist towards immigrants. But I don't know why. Because we are the product of immigrants. We're the byproduct of slavery. That's why I'm always saying, why does black people act like this towards immigrants? Taking our jobs. When did black people have jobs? Now, what jobs they're taking from us that are called black jobs? We wake up every morning. Y'all pray to God that y'all live a day to make some money, to keep your life as y'all had it throughout your history. Why are people so evil towards people? What is the anger of people trying to disrespect you online or offline? Like, you see what's going on out there in America. That's what I don't get. You see the things that are going on out there in America, the destruction of America through this regime. How Donald Trump is trying to destroy every single person's way of life. Doesn't matter what culture you are. Doesn't matter what history of your family came from. If you're American or non-American. Or you came in here with a green card. It doesn't matter. It's always going to be something that's going to, that's putting you in a situation that you got to survive. Why do we have to survive a president? Why do we have to get up every morning, turn on the TV, turn on YouTube, turn on any social media outlet, and we got to see the violence? And some people are proud of these violence things that are going on. And it's like, if you believe in God, that you so-called say, how can you love violence? Oh, does it say it in the Bible? Yes, it does. God promotes a lot of violence in the Bible. But you say you believe in God. You believe in Him. You put Him first, last, and forever. But you're doing the same thing that you would think the devil would do. Is the devil more enticing? I don't know. Never seen the devil. Never met the devil. Did I meet Jesus? No, I never met Jesus. Never met God. Do I believe in Him? Hell no. I don't believe in Him at all. Did I believe Jesus existed? Yes, I do believe Jesus existed. Because there were a lot of prophets back then. A lot of them. There were a lot of so-called prophets that said they were Jesus or they said they were God. A lot of them. No, I don't believe anything the man wrote. I don't believe anything that a human rights inside of a book that's 2,000 freaking years old, which is not that old. People think 2,000 is a long time ago. 2,000 years ago wasn't a long time ago. I see it was a million or a billion, but 2,000 years, that wasn't a long time ago. And they continuously read the same scriptures over and over and over and over again. Who wants to hear the same scriptures over and over and over again? And who wants to believe in something through faith and you can't believe anything in reality? Like, I can see my homie walk down the street. I can see him. He's reality. He's solid. But saying that God is walking down the street and He's not there, in my mind, I think you're crazy. But in your faith, you believe that's God walking down the street. And that's the problem with cults and raptures and all this kind of stuff. Now, I know a lot of people want to get away from get away from this world, so they start this rapture thing. So everybody wants to go to heaven. But like I said, you gotta be God at the gate. You won't be able to go into heaven freely. Just because you're a Christian. Remember, Christianity was a created name. This name that's called Christianity is named from the name of Jesus. Like Christmas. And the sad part about it is that, are we going to continue to see what's going on, that violence out in the street? Is that violence going to get worse? Is Donald Trump going to take people and put them on buses and you'll never see them again? Is he getting to that point of madness? I mean, real psycho madness. Like, violence towards his own people in his own country. And like I said, people are so proud to see violence. It's like a movie. This is not a movie, it's reality. People have sent all of them troops across the country. He might do martial law. And we don't want martial law. Because we won't be able to come outside at all. You think the pandemic was bad. Just imagine having martial law in America. Like, come on. This is wild. This is crazy. We don't need to be living like this. We should be out there enjoying ourselves, being free until the day we die. Smoking and drinking. Doing the things that we want to do, that we've been doing for a long ass time. Now he's trying to get rid of weed. He's trying to get rid of certain things that we are so used to having and enjoying. He's trying to take it away from us. Then we're going to have probably the black water fountain and the white water fountain. The black bathroom and the white bathroom. We're going to probably have Jim Crow again. He might put in a law that hanging might be a good thing to do for black people. He might bring back lynching. There's laws that have been torn up, but it can be rewritten again. The only thing I have to do is be signed by him by a pen. Remember, government, he controls the government, and he controls the seats to every motherfucking part of Congress. You know what I mean? So basically, just think about that. Just think about how powerful he is to sign anything in the law. It can be the dumbest shit, because he be signing some dumb shit in the law. And you want to know how the fuck he start? What do you sign that? Because he does it in secret. He could put women. He could take women's jobs away from them. He could make women go back to not desirable. Not just not desirable, take away their rights. He could do that. He could take women's rights away. He already tried to take away abortion. That's a woman's right. And he could also take the woman's right away from them and go back to the house and make the man go to work and have the woman stay at home, take care of the kids, which a lot of men want anyway, but he could do that. Women fought for the independence for over 100 and something years, but Donald Trump could take it like a snap of a finger. If he really thought about it, because he don't think about it. That's the one thing he don't think. He really doesn't think clearly. If he had somebody that actually was thinking, I think it would have happened. But he doesn't think. He's not in the right frame of mind. Education, you already taken education. He might be closing half of the schools. You know, kids are going to be out here, what, reading the Bible? Because all the parents are going to be trying to teach them. They're going to go back towards the time that parents used to teach their kids to read. They had to read the Bible. Because he's saying funding this, funding that, that's too much money. And the little things that we need, he's taking. You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is medical. But the little things that he's taking away, like he might take away summer camps. He's trying to take away from food for kids that need food in the morning. But you got people saying, oh, they can make lunch or breakfast or dinner for their kids. I'm like, or you go to a soup kitchen. Like, what the hell? Like, the evil in people and not understanding what government assistance is. Because like I said, people don't know what government assistance is. They just like, oh, they're not working. You're getting free money. There's no such thing as free money in America. Absolutely 0% free. You gotta get through the way you can get money through the government is a whole bunch of paperwork. And the paperwork could be that motherfucking thick. It takes people years. I mean years. It took me over 10 years to get my disability. 10. I could have got it when I was younger. Could have heart issues. But my mom said, no, I'm gonna let him figure that out when he gets older. I didn't even know anything about disability when I was younger. But when I got older, I tried it. When I was 36 years old, when I first had my first heart surgery, and I had 7 of them, straight. Pacemaker surgeries, straight. So, my doctor telling me, go and get your disability. Me trying to be all cute, I didn't listen at that first time. But when I did, I got the nod every single time. But did I get upset? Yes, I did. I was very upset. But what can I do? Just keep on trying, because every time I would be around somebody that had disability, they would tell me never stop. And then I went and kept on doing it. And then one day, my best friend helped me. I had a lawyer. I got it. The thing about it is, it's not what it's always cracked up to be. When people really think that all this money flowing in my pocket, it doesn't work like that. Absolutely doesn't work like that. Unless you're a scammer, unless you did something like that. No, never that. I will never do that. I will never cheat the system. Hell no. I ain't getting locked the fuck up. But the thing is that when you do everything right, they'll get rid of you. But when you start doing something wrong, they'll bring you in. I did everything right. And I had a lawyer, so that helped me. And when I got it, I'm looking at it like, wow, this is not what it's cracked up to be. All that time, all that paperwork, all that denying, all that hurtfulness, heartbreak, crying, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. Almost committed suicide. Doing all these things because I didn't get no money. But the thing was, when I got it, I'm like, God damn, I should have just been doing the same thing I was doing before. Working. But they told me I can't. It hurt me. But people got to understand it's not always cracked up to be. Just because y'all work, that's what y'all supposed to do. But when you lose your job and you need help, you're going to be looking for the government assistance. Because like I said, there's no jobs. Medical's going to be all fucked up. They're going to take away food stamps. They're going to do everything. Now, if it doesn't happen with the food stamps, he doesn't take anything, okay, that's cool. If he doesn't mess with medical or mess with food stamps, that's cool. But you got to understand, you still got to be fearful of that. Especially medical. Food stamps, yeah. People think spending money with dollar bills on food is better than food stamps. No, it's not. Food stamps is better. Because you can save your money that you get every day from work, or every week or every 2 weeks, and you can put it in the bank, and you don't got to use it to buy food. And that's what builds your money. The food stamps help you keep money in the bank. But people see food stamps as some like how you used to get food stamps back in the day when you used to get the book. And I would always try to hide it. I didn't want nobody to know I had food stamps. But I didn't know how popular food stamps were back then. Especially in the 90s. Like when we had the big book, the hundreds, it went up to like 1,000. You could buy anything you fucking want at any store, man. A pack of that shit. Oh my God. Back in the 90s, it was way different when it came to food stamps than it is today. Because, like, when you got the food stamps, you got that book, you were out there ripping that joint up, going. It was amazing. You know what I mean? But they put it on a card so they could have more control of it. Like before they had cards for your money, people used to have money in their bed, underneath their beds and shit, or in their closet or in their walls before they got cards, and they started just using a card and put it in the bank so they get their money out to a card. The same way with food stamps. They used to have money, then they used the card. Now they're using a card now. And they could put the food stamps through your phone. It's better to have government assistance to help you when you really need it. You don't need to be on it long. You can be on it for like a month, 2 months, 3 months. And then you get right the fuck off of it. People thinking that you gotta stay forever on it. You don't. Some can, unless it's like Social Security, not Social Security, it's not unemployment. Unemployment, you get like 6 to 8 months, depending on how much money you made throughout the time you work, or how many years. But disability and Social Security, yes, people hang on to that. Because people are still sick. Some people try to get off of it. Some people try to eat their way off of it. Some people want to work. They'll work like 20 hours. They'll still get taxes, and they'll pay their taxes. But they only work like 20 hours. That's not good because people want to work longer than that. Some people actually get off their disability. There's people out there that don't want to be on it at all. They want to work. They don't have no arm, leg, half of their body's missing, feet, eyes, their body, shit, and they're out there working. And they be like, yo, why you got your disability? Because I don't want to be on no more because it keeps me from working. I know people at my old job that were on disability. They didn't want to be on disability. They wanted to work. But they had to keep themselves on disability because they had no medical. That's why a lot of people get on disability and Social Security because of the medical. Not just because of the money. People think they've been gravitating towards the money. No. It's for their medication to get paid. A lot of people get paid, but they can't pay their medication through their money. So they go on these programs through Social Security disability to get easy motherfucking medication. Copay. It helps out people that are really sick. But people are trying to say, oh, they don't need that. Yes, you do. Why take something from people that need it, then you're going to need it in the future? Why not have it for if you lose your job, you lose your medical, you could go to an assistant of government and say, look, I need some medical, I need some food stamps. All you have to do is just prove to them of all your pay stubs, your address, all that shit. Now, some people will not even be approved Because sometimes they'll believe that you can still work. But if they know that you lost your job, they know because the government already knows that jobs are hard to get. They already know this because jobs go through their programs. Like when they have the temp agencies, they're the ones that get the programs of jobs or not here, here, or there. Donald Trump is bringing those jobs into the country, so they know that already. So they're willing to help people until they find a job. Now it's up to you to find a job and then get off of it. But people stay on it because of the freedom of getting food. They started being these chefs on fucking YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. They're trying to show that they can make food. They want to be something. So food is like I'm telling you, food. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that want to be chefs. They're competing on lines for cooking. So people will buy food, cook it up, put it online, and show it to everybody online. Like this. But I don't do all that shit all the time. I love to cook. I can cook. But I just do it once in a blue moon. But the thing about it is, these people out there, they have jobs. And they get on a system by lying and stay lying about the system. And then they'll get food stamps. There's a lot of scammers out there. Just like they did during the pandemic when they were scamming the stimulus checks, which you don't hear about anymore. I just can't believe it's 2025, man. We're going on 2026. And and people say it's a dangerous world. We were living in a dangerous world before Donald Trump became president. He just made it more absolutely dangerous. Like, we can't even go outside and enjoy our time because we don't know who's going to pop up on us. We don't know who's going to start shooting. We don't know. I was down in the mall yesterday after I went to my doctor's appointment. I'm looking around like, look how crowded this motherfucking mall is. Because it was the last day of being nice outside, so everybody was outside. So I'm in the mall, and I'm looking around. People up there yelling, screaming, dropping shit. People are all looking around, about to duck. Because people don't know what's going on in America anymore. We don't know if somebody's going to come out with a semi-automatic and start blowing everybody's head off. Because that's the fear. That's the fear. And that's the crazy part. We should not be fearing to live in our own fucking country. We should be fearing everybody living outside of our country. But we can't. That's what's fucked up. Now, we're sitting here worried about immigrants here, but we're not worried about anybody that's over there in other countries. Because we believe the immigrants are more worse than anybody else in the other country. How could it be even worse? Like, I don't get it. But we're worried about them. But the thing about it that makes you mad is that when you go out, all you fear is somebody coming up on you. Because around my area, they're having home invasions. They were setting fires not that long ago at people's homes. Like, there's a lot of shit going on. It has nothing to do with, I don't think these things have to do with politics. I think some of it do. Because you see the guys that are actually doing crime. For some reason, I be thinking them white guys that were up there doing all that shit was in that Capitol building. I just, for some reason, they showed all them white guys that got locked up. I believe they were in that Capitol building. And that's Trump. Those are the people that Trump fucking pardoned. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But you got all these, like, first it's blacks, right? Everybody talk about blacks killing everybody and doing all this other kind of stuff. Now white people are doing it, but white people are silent. They say they need mental health. They need to take some pills. They're depressed. Their family's not, the mom and dad didn't get along. The dad was abusive. The mom was abusive. But when it comes to black people, he ain't had no father in his life. You know what I mean? He always been doing drugs and look like he's about to do, like, robberies and killings. But the man never did a robbery and killing in his life or never did alcohol. Because it's always us. We're the ones that are being pressured as looked at as enemies. Now, everybody can talk about the immigrants. See, you don't know nothing about an immigrant. Now, you got black people living in your country, yeah, you know everything about the black man. Or a black woman, a black child. But you are living out there, you see all this shit going on, and you got white people, these white young men, that are doing the most dangerous thing by carrying semi-automatics around, taking videos on Facebook, TikTok, and showing off their guns. But they will say that they have mental issues, health issues. And the thing is like, damn, why do they always say that they have health issues, like mental health? That's crazy because if you look at way, way back for all the massacres that white people have done throughout history, will they need to be on depression pills? Remember, Christianity was founded through killing. and murder and enslavement. So the popes, the kings, the rabbis, all of them, were they supposed to be on depression pills? Because they were doing some crazy shit before Christianity became Christianity, where they were flopping a Bible around, murdering people, and having all these wars. So America was going through all these wars. Revolution, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam. So all these motherfuckers that were in these wars, that were killing each other, or going back and forth killing each other, did they need to have some depression pills? I'm talking about whites. I'm not talking about blacks. Blacks didn't come into the war until later on. You know, the Native Americans didn't come to the war until later on. They were there, but they couldn't shoot guns. They couldn't do anything except pave roads and do railroad tracks. They didn't have no guns. The white man was fighting. They were going back and forth with each other. So were they going to be on depression pills to have mental health? Because it doesn't make any sense. You talk about these 20 white people, and they try to make it look like, oh, it's not a Muslim, it's not a Mexican, not a Puerto Rican, or Dominican or what. He's white. He's part of the Democratic Party. Because you know why that happens? Because the fear that their own people are going to end their lives. Because you see what happens. You see who they go after. They're going after their own people. Yes, they probably go into a restaurant here, or Walmart here, or church here. That white guy that shot up that church was an all-white church. That Mormon church was an all-white church. Just think about it. He had a fucking Donald Trump sign on his fucking wall at his back of his house. Just think about that. Just think about these motherfuckers were all rights. They didn't care. And for some reason, Donald Trump did something that they didn't like. That's why they started going after their own kind. Maybe Donald Trump took something away. Or he promised something that he didn't keep. And they got mad. Because you can't be making promises you don't keep to people, because people get mad. Maybe the mom and dad said something about Donald Trump, hating him after he did something that was disrespectful to the Republican Party. And they hated him for that. You don't think that parties don't attack each other? You think parties just sit there and say, oh, okay, we ain't going to attack them for saying anything? No. The party's going to attack. If it was Democrat, they would have had a problem with it. If it was Joe Biden, they would have had a problem with it. But everybody knows it wasn't the Democrats. It was a Republican, and it wasn't anything except the Republicans. The Republicans are the ones that actually attack their own kind. Their own people. Think about that. Why blame the Democrats knowing that it was proven that it was the Republicans? Because they had pictures of this guy next to Donald Trump. Or they had flags, or they had videos of them talking about. I bet you anything, a lot of them kids probably did a lot of videos before they went out there and killed somebody. They probably did a lot of videos. Because I used to watch the motherfuckers on this thing on YouTube when they were talking about young kids being mass shooters. They would write a dossier of why they're going to kill whoever they're going to kill. Like this one young boy, he made up a date that he was going to go at his job and kill everybody at his job. White boy. He spent almost a year shooting a shotgun out in his backyard. Guess who was out there with him? His mom. Helping him shoot at a fucking pumpkin or some bottles. Then he counted down the days. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do this. I'm a little nervous. So the boy got there early. He had a shotgun. I think he had a handgun too. Walked in there. Everybody was in there starting to work. Young boy went there and started shooting people in the fucking head. Shot the first girl, fat girl, coming down the aisle. Boom! Shot her to death. He killed 6 people. Then he shot himself. Just think about all these other motherfuckers that are doing the same with the dossier. Everybody know what a dossier is, right? Everybody know what a dossier is, right? People will write out what they feel about anybody. If it's racist, if it's his wife, or, you know, whatever, they cheated on him, you know, they write that shit out why they kill. And that, I bet you anything they have a lot of dossiers. But you know they never came out with the dossiers. They never spoke about why he killed. Everybody that did those murders They never asked him why. They did it. Now, the boy that shot up the church, the black church, yeah, he actually said, yeah, I had to do it because nobody else was going to do it. He said that. He didn't care. They took him to Burger King the same fucking day. But they say mental problems. People say, oh, you got a mental problem, you got a mask on. You say, so the fuck what? Yeah, babe, I do have a mental problem. Who cares? But see, my mental problem is different between a white man's mental problems. It's different. I don't want to massacre my family, which a lot of people, white people do. Massacre their family over money, over things of material. See, black people are territorial. We're territorial. We don't want you in our area, we want you gone. That's different than going into my house, see my mom over there, my dad over there, my dad's sleeping over there, my mom's exercising, I walk up to my dad, boom, then I walk up to my mom, boom, and I walk down the hallway, see my little brother, little sister sleeping, boom, boom. Those are what white people do. That's what white people do. We don't do that shit. Black people don't do that shit because we know not to touch our family. Yeah, we probably have a little issue sometimes with our family, you know, but other times, we don't go hunting for our family members just because my mom didn't leave me $50,000 or my dad's about to kick me out because I don't have no job. And he told me he's going to take away my allowance. How dare you take away my allowance, Dad? Click, click. Dad on the floor. Mom come running in. What did you do? Boom. Calling 911. I said, how about mom? Why? I don't know. My man said, hold on. The 3 black guys came in here and they tried to rob us. Didn't you say you shot your mom? No, I meant to say I said the wrong thing. Please come here fast. My mom is dying. This young man will blame black people for shooting their family. Then they found out it's him. Like the girl did, that white girl did the same thing when she had her child kidnapped. She blamed 3 black guys for stealing her child. It's so amazing, man. Like, mental health for black people, mental health for white people, no black people way is the way to get life to this guy right here because we need to put him in jail because we need to make some money. That's the crazy part. We're worth money. Our organs, our heart, our brain, worth money. Throwing us in jail, worth money. We are the diamonds of Africa, man. That's what black people are in America. We are the diamonds of Africa. So that's the reason why you see a lot of blacks being kidnapped, a lot of black people dying and disappearing. And they're starting to see other cultures being the same way, being money. We don't know where they kidnap these people, where they place these people at once they take them into custody. We don't know where the hell they go. Why are they taking these people? Why are they putting them places? Put them where you say you're going to put them, man. Don't be taking them all over the fucking planet. It's like they know something. Maybe they know something. I don't know. Maybe it's a plan. Maybe Donald Trump makes up people be fucking captured, and he takes them and he puts them somewhere in another part of the country. I don't know. It's strange to me. These people are disappearing, and then families never see them again. Are they part of the plan? It just makes sense. All the kids that disappeared during that flood in Texas, over 170-some kids disappeared from the flood in Texas. Where'd them kids go? Where did they disappear? They drowned? They didn't drown. All 73 kids did not drown. Because you can even look at the tsunami that happened over there in Thailand. It didn't kill a lot of kids. But these kids were kidnapped and they disappeared. Where did they go? Does Donald Trump have them at the Oval Office or something? I don't like pedophiles. I hate them. I despise pedophiles. I despise pedophiles, molesters, and rapists. I despise them. I hate them. So if you hear me say something smart, if you hear me say something smart, I'm sorry. I can't stand them. I can breathe. This thing's kind of hot. the year 2025, and we living in hell. And people say, "Oh no, we're not living in hell. We are the man." Come on, man. Now you got these people trying to go up into heaven with the rapture. You know, after that guy said once again, the rapture's going to start today, yesterday, and tomorrow. And I haven't seen not one video been posted about the rapture again. They haven't posted a video about the rapture. So I'm waiting for that video to come out. Because it's funny. It's just funny to me that that these people actually believe in this shit. Like I said, we live in a fantasy world, man. Because our cell phones made us live in this fantasy world. Technology made us live in a fantasy world. We never put any... First, we used to live in reality. Like, everything was in front of us was real before they created technology. And even technology wasn't really actually fabricated or lying to you, because they only started making it to be fabricated and lying to you is when they started creating, like, actual, like, you know, I can't say the word. I hate to say that word. You know, images of... You could create images of fake people. Like, take this for instance. You have females online, right? Females can make their breasts bigger. They can make their ass bigger by pressing a button on the phone. A guy can put a beard on his face. A guy can put tattoos on his arms. A guy can make himself lose weight, even though he's 500 pounds. In an image. And this is the fantasy of people thinking, oh, wow, this guy looks good, but he doesn't look nothing like that. Because this is how they make money. Like they keep on showing this image of Tupac. They keep on showing the image of Tupac. And I'm like, please do not believe that's Tupac. Because what they're doing is, they're going to actually make a hologram of aliens coming down here. Because I think they're practicing using these holograms. Because they had one with Biggie Smalls, Tupac, and Aaliyah. And a couple of other people that died. The next thing is to make people believe that aliens is coming from space. Now, it's supposed to be happening on Thanksgiving. They said they got some signal from space, and the alien's going to be here on Thanksgiving. Now, is it true? It was some white doctor that said this, but they believe him more than they believe the boys doing the rapture. They did the African boy that did the rapture. You know, you most definitely didn't believe him too much, but they really actually believe the bull with the aliens, because people believe aliens exist. And they believe the earth is flat. So they're going to believe the white doctor, the white scientist. But the thing is, to me, is that this is what it's called about fantasy. We live in fantasy. We don't live in reality no more. We accept fantasy. That's why we always talk about Matrix. We don't exist. But you can't even walk to a fucking wall. But you say that you don't exist. You know what I mean? But I can see you. You're not a hologram. You're solid. So why the fuck would you say, oh, I'm not real? I guess you are. You're a real person. You're right in front of me. I can touch you. I can grab you. I can throw you on the floor and beat the shit out of you. You are real. You can't walk through that wall. If you were imaginary, you could walk right through a fucking wall. But we live in fantasy. We don't know how to live in reality at all, because we're so lost in fantasy. Because like I said, technology was created to get lost through fantasy. To make us believe in things that's not even real. We believe in shit that doesn't even exist. Because that is called A.K.A. Ultra. That's a mind control. They can control your mind in any which way through food, music, video games. They can control you anytime they fucking want to. It's a mind thing. Because they've been doing it for at least probably 100 years. They're probably doing it when they first created the first radio. They do it through music too. Even Neo even talked about it. Some songs that you could actually get captivated with the signal. Because Michael Jackson used to do it all the fucking time. Use music that could actually stimulate the brain. And make us listen to the song 1 billion times. That's what I'm saying, yo. We live in a fantasy. We walking around here believing in God, right? We think God exists, blah, blah, blah. But it's all a fantasy, because the mind is... Somebody's telling you over and over and over again that God exists. in your mind that you never seen this man before. You never seen him walk the earth. You never touched him. You never held his hand. You never kissed him. You never did anything. You never seen this man at all. He's supposed to be a man, whatever he's supposed to be. You never, ever, you just never seen him before. But it's all faith that people believe, oh, it's all faith. Yeah, but you can't use faith as a belief system because it's fantasy. That's what faith is to me, it's a fantasy. It's a I hope, I wish type shit. That's me with faith. That's my meaning, my own word meaning of faith. It's just, I want, I wish, I hope he comes and shows me him. So I can tell all my friends he's real. But your mind always are going to put a face on something. Because like I said, God doesn't show nobody's face, show his face to sin. So you will never see his face. But people say they've seen him. You will never see his face. He doesn't show his face to sin. He only shows his face to his angels. That's all he shows his face to is to his angels, not the man. Man created sin. How are you going to show his face? That the people that he created, that he knew they were sinful. Jesus shows his face because Jesus doesn't mind. Because he absorbed all the sins. That's the reason why he shows his face. But God hates the sinful things that humans did. And he watched us for millions of years to watch us sin. That's why people say, well, you know all this, why you don't believe in God? Because I don't believe there's a God that's going to make us suffer. Now, if God exists, I would ask him why he make us suffer. And why is the earth, why do we have all these evil people on this planet? If you know who's evil, why are you letting them do the things to us? Like this president of the United States. Why are you allowing him to do these things? And why are you allowing these people that are fake Christians or trying to, or believing that they're Christian, get into heaven? Knowing you supposed to judge first. I would ask these questions. But I won't be able to answer the questions because I won't be able to talk. Only the angels probably only talk for me. This is the reason why I don't believe in faith. And sitting in a motherfucking church all fucking day, listen to somebody screaming and hollering out of a book. Let me talk about, he talks through the Holy Ghost, but 5 minutes later he's asking you for money. No. I'd rather have my own belief system. And like I said, if God does exist, he's going to prove it to me anyway. Because I have nowhere to go. If I die, I'm probably going to know he's there, right? But for me, I don't see no way of him talking to people 2,000 fucking years ago, basically having great conversations 2,000 years ago to Paul, David, all of them. He was having great conversations with them, Mary Magdalene, Jesus, his son, Jesus' brother. Why does he doesn't talk to people like that back then? Now he don't talk to people now. God actually used to talk from heaven. Everybody used to fucking hear him talk. Why does he don't do that now? Oh, it's just too much sin. He was doing it when people were committing sin too back then. What is the difference? If him speaking to us the same way he spoke 2,000 years ago. Did he speak in Aramaic? Did he speak in Russian? Did he speak in Latin? What language did he speak in? Did he speak in African? Did he speak in Jewish? Because Jews had many languages. They didn't have just one language. What Jewish language did they speak? Before the Jewish language came out, they wasn't talking the Jewish language. Like the Africans wasn't talking the African language, they're talking about another language. They're speaking in tongues. Everybody wasn't speaking the same language. They had different language barriers, like thousands of different language barriers back then. Even though the earth didn't have that many people on it. But where? What did God speak? If God was going to Bethlehem or going to Jerusalem, what language did he speak? Was God a Jew? Jesus was a Jew. God wasn't a Jew. God is not a Jew. But they believe, oh, God is coming back. But God is not a Jew. Jesus was a Jew. So how is it that his father, that he must be mixed? He must be mixed with a God and Jewish, because that's how Hercules was mixed. Hercules' father was a God, and he fucked his mom. And his mom was mortal. And it became out to be Zeus. So how is it that God did the same thing to Mary? But why his name Jesus, and why is he such a good person? It should be the opposite. Really, Jesus should have been a bad motherfucking dude. All his teachings, honestly, he was an immigrant. Jesus was an immigrant. He was going town to town to town to town to town, which he should never been in any of the fucking towns, and they considered him as an immigrant. That's how he got fucking locked up. That's how he got put on the cross. Because he was a fucking immigrant. Walking around telling people, God this, God that, God this, God that, my father, my father. They didn't like that shit, especially not even just like the Roman Empire. You had Herod, you had all of them that didn't like that he was walking around preaching. In many cities that he went to, a lot of people, like the governors that were there, the leaders of that parts of them countries, really didn't want him there. They tried to kick him out every single fucking time he started preaching. And even his own people during before his death, they treated Jesus so fucking bad, so bad, that when Jesus was down there carrying the cross, when he fell, they beat the shit out of him. People were coming from the fucking crowd. Was going if the Romans didn't stop them, they would end up killing Jesus. They were that fucking crazy. People talk about him getting beaten up before he was dragged, before he got the cross. Them people treated him far worse than they did when he was being beaten. They were trying to kill him. The only reason why they didn't get to Jesus is because the crowd was held back by the Romans. And when he was put on the cross, they could have killed Jesus on the cross before they even put him up. I believe for some reason, I believe he died before he hung on the cross. Because there's no way that you get a needle, if you get a nail in your fucking hand and in your feet, you don't pass the fuck out. He didn't pass out not one fucking time. Honestly, he should have got in the wrist, not the hand. Because the hand can't hold up anything. He probably got it in the wrist. And he probably got the nails on the side of his ankles, not in his feet. Because they had to keep him up. They had to hold him up. And your body weight on a cross, let's imagine Jesus was probably like 6'3". Yeah, Jesus was probably like 6'3", 100, probably 70 pounds. He was tall. So they had to make the cross in his size. They just can't hang you a cross. Oh, put this cross out there. No, they got to make sure you fit the cross. You fit on the cross. So they went by size. And once they nailed it to the cross, they had to nail it to his wrist and his ankles. Because they actually found a crucified person. And the nails were going through his ankles, not his feet. Which everybody think that Jesus got these nails through his hands. He never got his hands nailed. He had his wrist, and he had something tied against his arms. That's how they used to crucify people. They used to crucify people upside down too. They used to crucify children. And the parents would watch. And they wouldn't allow them to take their bodies to bury them. Their bodies would have been left there. Now, I still don't understand about this Jesus thing, having his body taken the fuck down. I still don't believe that shit. But they said his body was taken down. So how does his body get kidnapped? If he came to life as a youth, now people say he came to life not as a spirit. He came to life as Jesus. Like he came up, got up and walked, and everybody saw him as not a spirit, but as a man. So how does his body disappear? Because you know why? It's fabrication. It's fabrication. It's a story. Because the Jewish people wanted to make a fucking religion out of Mary Magdalene, see Jesus rose from the grave. And Constantine took that away from them. And he created the Bible. No, he restructured the Bible and made Christianity. That's where the Christianity came from the Roman Empire. But, stories have changed through the decades. We don't really want to know the true facts because a lot of the facts of Christianity is gone. A lot of facts about the Egyptian religion, the Muslim religion, all disappeared because they had to make sure of each generation, they had to take away the old books and throw them in the trash can. So people won't know the past. They did that to Christianity. Christianity has so many fucking books. So many books. So many scriptures. And you know what they did? They threw them in the trash can. And they only put what they wanted in the Bible. To keep people from knowing about the past. And what really happened in the past. They only tell you what they want you to know was going on in that Bible. We don't even know who wrote the Bible. It was like 66 different authors that wrote in the Bible. And we don't know none of the authors. We just know it's kings, popes, and many other ones that are standing over these writers and telling them what the fuck to write. Smart motherfucking men. These are scholars that were sitting over these motherfucking men saying, write this, write that, write this. They'll take that out, take that out, take that out, put this in, because they wanted to make the book smaller. And now you got your Bible. But Revelation didn't exist in the Bible. Armageddon did not exist. Or even a rapture didn't exist. Because they had the Old Testament. So the Old Testament Bible, which a lot of people probably don't use anymore because everybody uses the New Testament, because a lot of people believe in the New Testament now. They believe the New Testament is telling you if God is coming back, or it tells you when they're going to have a rapture or a war between good and evil. So people are reading that. That's why when I turn around, everybody be reading the Bible and say, oh, let me tell you this scripture, Matthew. Matthew was not in the Old Testament. They want you to know that the New Testament is much better to read, because even the who is the New Testament? The one knocking on your door, Jehovah's. They believe in the New Testament. They don't believe in the Old Testament. Do they believe in the Old Testament? Yeah, they go by the Old Testament. They go by old values. Christians go by the New Testament, because Christians love the New Testament. They love it because they love death for some fucking reason. That's the reason why I believe a lot of people like Donald Trump. They love the way he speaks about death and how he promotes himself like he's like, they say God speaks out like that. He's not God, but that's the thing is that, we got so many things to learn, man. So many things to learn. And I feel sorry for people that's not caring about what's going on in the world. And having this fear of death is really clogging up people's mind. Want to be raptured and all this other kind of bullshit. I mean, they don't love themselves. They just respect themselves. It's crazy. Like, we should have been doing better for ourselves, especially as we got older and mature as grown men, like my homies. We should have got mature, and we should have been out there doing a lot more to help people. But we don't do that. We can't do that. Because of all the hate, racism, all the pedophile and molesting and all that other kind of stuff that people are going through right now. It's crazy, man. You see all the things going on with ICE. You see everything that's going on with the military. You see everything that's going on between black and white. You see going through all different cultures. People don't know where Puerto Rico is. Didn't even know it was American. Didn't know Hawaii was an American country. And shit like that. And then they get all shocked because they get mad because of Bad Bunny. And all this shit. It's crazy. It's like, it's so stupid to get mad over stupid shit like this. And then we just can't just live our lives and die. We just can't live our lives and die. Why can't we live our lives and die? But it's so hard about that. You don't live on this earth long. You die a heart attack and a stroke. You get hit by a car, a bus, or a train. But you thinking that you're going to live forever. Because you're trying to live forever. I don't know why you want to live forever. I don't know why you want to live 300 to 400 years. What are you missing? You're not missing shit. That's why you have grandkids. That's why you have kids. So your kids can take over that and see the future. Our future's already done. This is why this is not our era. That's why I always tell people, let these kids have their era. We had our era all the time. We had our generation. It's time for them to have their generation. Why are we chasing their dreams? Why are we all in their faces? These kids are probably a little bit smarter than us. But we're smarter than them probably because we can survive. They can't. We can survive shit. This generation of kids can't survive shit. They don't know how to survive. They don't, we didn't teach them how to survive. Or we won't teach them how to survive. That's why a lot of kids are dying. That's why a lot of kids are getting kidnapped. Because we're not actually what my generation of my mom and my dad overprotected of their kids. This generation, these kids can do anything they fucking want. And then fight the mom and the dad. Or the grandma and grandpa. They don't give a fuck. These are the ones that are supposed to be presidents and the new vice presidents of the future. They probably won't even survive. They'll probably be locked up in concentration camps. I hate that because my daughter is 22 years old. So I'm glad my daughter's an adult. So she don't have to deal with these kids are going through. But she still got to worry about stuff that's going to happen in the future. Because you're going to see a lot of death. You know what I mean? That's some crazy shit. To live through, living in this world, living in this country right now, and all you can think about is your kids. And how they're going to live. You know what I mean? How they're going to suffer. And you don't want them to suffer. You want them to live their lives. You want them to be happy. Have kids. Get a white picket fence. Get a nice car. Get a nice house. You know, make some money. But that's not happening, dog. All the stuff that's happening right now, it looks like everything is going to be tied to these kids right here of this generation. The ones that get smart and call me names and all that other kind of stuff, I tell these kids, you got to stop doing that shit. You should be learning from an old head besides putting the old head down. Because the old head's going to be one telling you what's going to happen in the future. Because we are the ones that actually can predict the future. And y'all are going to be the ones locked up in concentration camps or being on work camps. Remember, I'm not going to live that long. Now, I'm about to be 50. I don't know how long I'm going to live after 50. I'm going to move on. These kids are still going to be here. And a lot of older generation of mine, they're going to be leaving with me. And we're going to be happy. Y'all are going to be the ones miserable living on this planet, have to deal with these motherfuckers that's going to put y'all in concentration camps and put y'all in work camps. And then you want to wish the old heads were back to protect y'all. So just remember, whatever comes out your mouth and what you think about people, just remember, y'all going to end up the same way. So we're trying to tell y'all and teach y'all shit to help y'all not be in that situation. I'm out.